Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've got a simple fun little project for you guys today. We're going to be building a simple landing page concept, and I'm going to base this concept around one of my favourite games, which is Metal Gear Solid. I'm going to be using an image of Grey Fox, one of the characters, and before we get going I'll just show you what the project looks like and then we'll dive into the code. So yeah, hope you enjoy guys, and cheers for watching. Thanks. Okay guys, this is what we're going to be building today. You can see we have the glitchy Grey Fox image in the middle here. And also when we click, we get the gunshot sound with the flash as well. We can toggle that sound off by pressing this toggle up in the top left. And also down the bottom left here, we have this weather section. This is for Chelmsford, where I live, in Essex, England, 20 degrees Celsius with light rain. We can also search for other cities. So for example, London. I'll type that in now. Do a search and then we get the updated weather for London. You can see we have broken clouds and it's slightly hotter there. Try Manchester as well. Do a search and there you go, slightly colder up in Manchester. So we also get the time in the top right there as well. It's quite a fun little project, something I thought I'd build over my Easter break and whilst we're in isolation. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it and let's just jump straight into it. Okay, so I've got a simple project folder set up here. You can see we have our two Grey Fox images. We have a gunshot MP3 sample, and we have the usual index.html, style.css, and app.js files. Here's what the gunshot sounds like. Okay, so coming to our index.html file, we're going to do a boilerplate, give it a title of home, and then we're going to link to our style.css in the header and the app.js in the body. Okay, and then coming into this, we're going to do a div with a class of container. In the container, we're going to have another div with pointer. This is going to be our cursor. And then we're going to have a div of soundbar, which is going to be used to toggle our sound on and off. And then we also have a div with an ID of image container. This is going to store our two Grey Fox images. Okay, so ./greyfox1. Give this a class of Grey Fox as well. I'm going to do the second image and give this a class of Grey Fox 2. Okay, and come underneath this, we're going to do another H1. It's going to have a class of time. This is where our time is going to be placed. And then underneath this, we're going to have another div with the weather. Then we're going to have an input where we're going to type in the city for the weather we want. Give this class of weather search. And then we're going to have a placeholder of enter city in here. And then come underneath this, we're going to have another div with a class of search. And here we're going to use a Font Awesome magnifier logo. Okay, so I found this logo here, copy that, place the I class within the div, the search div, and then we also need to link to the CDN, the Font Awesome CDN, which is this script here. You need an account to get that. Okay, and kind of underneath that, we're going to do a H5 for the location. This is where the location is going to be stored. H3 for the temperature, just to display the temperature in degrees Celsius, and H5 for the status to show whether it's sunny, cloudy, that kind of thing. We have one last div of gunshot, and this is going to basically be a large white div to replicate a gunshot flash. Okay, so moving on to the style.css, we're going to do the globals, give a margin of 0, padding 0, and box size in border box. And then I'm going to link this Montserrat Google font as well. So just go to Google Fonts, put the link in the header, and then the CSS selector in there as well. Okay, and then we want letter spacing of 0.2 rem. And then the colour, we're going to use this orangey colour, okay, for the text. And HTML body selected underneath that with a height of 100 viewport heights. And we're going to have a cursor of none, okay, because I don't want to see the cursor on the screen. And underneath this, we'll do our container. So position absolute, background of black, and then we're going to have left 0, top 0 to start the top left of the screen, width of 100 viewport width, and then a height of 100 viewport heights, z index of 3 to put the container in front of everything. I've just commented out the cursor none for now because I still want to see it whilst we're developing this. Underneath that, we're going to do an image with a width of 400 pixels, and then transparent for opacity of 0. So we're going to apply this transparent class to the image every now and then to make it see-through. Okay. Soundbar, I want this position of absolute, left 10% and top 10%. We're going to give this a width of about 3 rem, height of 14 pixels, and also we want a border of 1 pixel solid and then this grey colour, so hashtag yeah, 8F, 8F, 8F. Border radius of 10 pixels to curve the edges, and Z index of 2. Okay, then kind of underneath this, we're going to do the ball. So we're going to have this position absolute again, left 2 pixels, top 0, and we're going to have a width of, give this 12 pixels, height of 12 pixels, and then background of this orange color again, and then a border radius of the same 10 pixels. And then we want to transition 0.2 seconds. So we're going to use that for animation. Okay, so we're going to copy this ball, and then we're going to apply the off class, and then that's just going to move the ball over to the right. So we'll do left of 2 rem. Okay, so that's all we changed there. Kind of underneath that, we're going to select our image container. We're going to do a text line center to center the image, position absolute, width of 50%, height of 90%. Change, transform, translate. Let's change that height. Translate to minus 50%. And then we're going to say left 50%, top of 5%, and overflow hidden. Okay, so you see that's nice and centered now. And then if we come underneath this, we'll do our box. So this is going to be position absolute, left, so background of URL, we're going to give it the grey fox 1 URL image, background attachment of fixed, and then a background size of 400 pixels, and then we'll say Z index of 10. Okay, and then filter of grayscale, do about, yeah, I'll do for now. And then we want to select our grey fox image underneath that, position absolute again, say left 50%, transform, translate to minus 50%, and then come underneath that, we're just going to say filter grayscale. We'll do this about, let's say 70%, maybe a bit less. Let's do 60%. Okay, then come underneath this, we're going to say time. We want this position absolute again, left 70%, top about 10%, and then we're going to say font weight about 100. Okay, and then background transparent. Okay, and then underneath this, we're going to sort our pointer. So we'll say position absolute, and we'll just say width 5 pixels, do a height of 5 pixels as well, do a border radius of about 50%, and then background of that orange color we'll go for again. Okay, and then Z index, want this in front of everything, so let's put 2 for now. You'll see it in the left corner there, but we can't use it at the moment. We need to use JavaScript to move this. Next, we're going to do our gunshot div. So say position absolute again, left 0, top 0. I want to do a width of 100 VW. That should be VW. Height of 100 VH. And then we're going to say, if we come under, we'll do just a background of white. Oh, it'll be transparent when it's not active, okay? And behind everything, so we do a Z index of -1, and then when we put the active class on, we want to make the Z index 100 and a background color of white. Okay. And then weather, we're going to say position absolute, left 10%, top 70%, and then width 20%. And then we're going to do text align center, and then a Z index of 100. Okay, and then weather search, so we're going to have a background of black because we don't want to see the text box really. We want to have a nice black background so it blends in. Take off the border of none. Let's remove that div. We need to put active on there. That should be removed now. You can see our text box has a black background. We'll give a border bottom of that orange color, 1px solid orange, and then we'll just say margin 1 rem. Okay, as you can see, we've got a nice border on the text box now at the bottom. And then we're going to say search, position absolute, top 0, right 1 rem, cursor pointer, and then we'll just say margin 1 rem again. So our magnifying glass is next to the search box now. Okay, so now moving on to the JS, that's it for the CSS. So the first thing we're going to do is to click settings. We're going to say let bg equal document.getElementById, by ID, and then that image container to select the image container. And we're going to say let grey fox equals document.querySelector, then we'll select the grey fox image. Then we're going to say let count equal 10, okay, or 18, sorry. And then for, we're going to do a for loop, for let I equal 0, whilst I is less than count I plus plus. Then for this, for each iteration, we're going to say let glitch box equals document.create element div. We're going to create a div. We're going to add a class to each of these divs with a class of box, which we've highlighted in our CSS here. And then we're going to say bg.append child. We're going to append the glitch box. Okay, you can see we've got all these boxes now in our elements section. Underneath this, we're going to do our first glitch setting. So we're going to say set interval here, and this is we're going to basically apply the transparent class to our grey fox image. Okay, and that transparent just makes it full opacity 0. Okay, and then we're going to say greyfox.style.left equals, we'll say 45%, just to shift it to the left of slightly. And we're going to make this interval occur every 3 seconds, okay? So I put 3000 in the interval section there. Next, we'll do a set timeout in this interval, because we want to remove that transparent class we applied to the image, so we can see it again. And then we're going to say in here another, we'll put a set timeout for about 60 milliseconds after, okay? So you can see we get a little flash there. And then we're going to do another set timeout underneath this. And here we're going to say greyfox.style.left equals about 60% this time. Shift it over to the right. Remember, this is about 50 milliseconds. We want this to happen quite quick to get that glitch effect. Do one last set timeout here. We'll say greyfox.style.left equals 50% to return it to its original position with a 50 millisecond interval. See, we get a little glitch effect there. We'll do one more of these. So we'll do glitch setting 2. Same kind of thing, really. We'll just do a set interval again, and we're going to make this a 4,000 milliseconds this time. So every 4 seconds, this will trigger. We're going to again add that transparent class to the grey fox image again. And we'll just say style.left equals about 49% this time, and then we'll do another set timeout. We'll do the top as well. We'll say top minus 5% style.top. Then we'll do a set timeout, and then we're going to say here grey fox, we're going to remove that transparency class we added again, and then we're going to do another set timeout underneath this. We'll say greyfox.style.left equals, we'll say about 40% this time, and then we're going to do one last timeout just to remove it back into its original position at 50%. Okay, so top of null, and then we'll do a left after this as well, like so. Cool. Don't forget to add the interval times as well after those set timeout functions. Okay, so that's our glitch effect there. Now we just need to add those boxes on top, those glitchy boxes. So we'll say let glitch equal document.query selector all, and we'll select all those 18 boxes we made above. We do another set interval function here, and we're going to say for let I equals 0, whilst I is less than the glitch array.length I plus plus, and we're going to basically say for each iteration of the glitch box, we're just going to give it a random left pixel number. Okay, so using the math.floor math.random times 900 pixels. Okay, and we're going to do this for the top and also for the width and the height as well. And this is just trial and error, really. Put any kind of numbers in here you want. It's down to personal preference, really. I'm going to make this so you can see we get that glitch effect there. I want to make the boxes a bit smaller, actually. They're too big, so we're going to say just 5 pixels. And I've also increased the interval time as well, just to make it a bit slower. Okay, and then kind of underneath this. So that's it for our glitch. That's all done. Now we're going to do the time section, okay? So we're going to select our time header, which we did in our HTML. So give this a class of time. So query selector.time here. And then underneath that, we're going to initialize a new date function. So get time. We're going to say let current time equals new date. And then we can access this date feature now. So we'll say let time string equal, we're going to use template literals. We'll say ctime.getHours to get the hours. And then colon ctime.getMinutes. and then colon ctime.getSeconds, okay? Don't forget to add parentheses after these as their functions. And then if we say current time.innerHTML equals that time string we just created. So now if we go back, we need to initialize the function first, so get time. You can see we get the time in there now. Now we need to re-trigger this after every second so it updates, okay? So say set timeout, I'm going to get the time function for 1000. So every second you'll see we get our time updating now. Now I want to add a 0 before any numbers that are less than 10, okay? So we're going to create another function called add 0, and then that takes the number. It's going to return, if the number is less than 10, we want it to return 0 before the number in the template literal there, or just return the number, okay? Then we're going to add that 0 for each of the hours, minutes, and seconds in our time string. Okay, so now if we go back onto our page, you should see we get the 0 before the 8 and 9, and it just goes to 10. Okay, so that's working brilliant. And that should be the same for the hours and the minutes as well. Okay, it's kind of underneath that. That's our time section done. We're going to move on to the cursor now. So we're going to say const pointer equals document.querySelector, and then we're going to add that pointer class we made. Then we're going to say document.addEventListener. We're going to listen for a mouse move, and that takes in a callback. We're going to say pointer.style.left is going to be our event.clientX plus the pixels, okay? So it'll follow our mouse horizontally, and we're also going to do client Y as well, pixels. So now our mouse pointer div should follow us wherever we go, okay, on the page. I'm going to make that cursor none active now. So now you can see we get this pointer, our custom pointer, which follows us around. That's working. And then coming underneath this, if we go back to our JS file, so that's our pointer section done. We're now going to add a gun noise, okay? So const gunshot equals document.querySelector, and we're going to set that gunshot div we made, okay? Then we're going to say const soundbar equals document.querySelector and select the soundbar. Okay, and then we're going to say const ball equals the .querySelector.ball, so that's the ball within the soundbar, okay? So now we're going to say soundbar.addEventListener. We're going to listen out for a click. And then basically this is going to say ball.classlist.toggle, and then we're going to say off. Okay, so that'd be the sound off. So now if we click on that, you can see it toggles our ball either on or off, and it moves accordingly in the soundbar. Underneath this, we're going to say document.addEventListener. I'm going to listen out for a click, because this is the whole document when we click. And here we're going to say if the class list of the ball contains off, we don't want it to make any noise, so we're just going to return out of this function. Otherwise, we're going to say gunshot.classlist.add, and we're going to add the active class, so that div comes to the front of the screen, the white div, okay? And then we're going to create a new audio, we're going to use a new audio method to play that gunshot MP3, okay? So we say .play, and that should trigger the gunshot sound. So now if we come here, what's going on there? Class list of null. Okay. Oh yeah. We need to add. Okay, we need to add a null before that gunshot. That's why a dot before that gunshot. That's why it wasn't working. So now you can see we get the gunshot sound. That's working. But now we need that div to disappear as soon as the shot's made. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a set timeout. And then we're going to say gunshot.classlist. I've done it. Just start again. Set timeout. We'll say gunshot.classlist.remove, and we'll say active, okay? And we want this to occur about 50 milliseconds after. So now you can see. Okay, cool, that's working. So now that we've done that, we can come under and we can move on to the weather section. So we're going to do our selectors again, const weather location, and that equals document.query selector, and we're going to say location.location, const temperature equals document.query selector dot temperature, and then we're going to say const status equals document.query selector dot status, like so. And then const weather search equals document.query selector, and this is just search. Oh no, weather hyphen search, and then const search equals document.query selector search. Okay, and then underneath this, so we're going to say so we're going to use this weather API here, openweather.org. Okay, so you need to sign up and get a API key. So I'll just store mine there for now. And then we also need to I'm going to use my city where I live, which is Chelmsford in the UK. Use whatever city you want here as our default city. And then we're going to use, you can see the examples of the API call here. So I'm going to type in an API call. And we also need to put our key on the end, as well as the country code. Okay, so say comma UK, and then we'll just say and then I've added my API key there. So this is going to be the URL we go to. Okay, I just wanted to delete London, and I want to put a template literal just showing my city of Chelmsford in there. And I'm also going to replace the API key with the API key template literal. Okay. Then we're going to do a function called getWeather. And yeah, we'll place the URL in there within that function. And in here we're going to say weather search dot value not equal to blank. And if it isn't, we're going to say city equals weather search dot value. So basically the value in a text box if there is a value. Otherwise the city is going to equal Chelmsford. Okay. And then underneath that, we're going to say fetch. We're going to fetch that URL. And then we're going to say dot then. And then we're going to take in the response. And then we're going to return that response in JSON format. And we're going to say dot then. And then we're going to say data. So we've got the data. And then we're going to console log the data. Okay. So now you can see if we go back, if we do inspect, you can see if we go to console, we need to initialize our getWeather function. But yeah, so let me just go back to VS Code, and then we'll just say getWeather, add parentheses as well. So now you can see we get our response in JSON format, and you can see we have values we can use here. So we have the main, which stores the temperature. We have the weather. You see this clouds. It's got a description in there as well. Yeah, so that's great. So now if we go back to our JS, we're going to come in the data section. We'll say weather location.inner text. And that's going to equal data. And if you go back, you can see that the location is stored under name. So data.name, that'll be Chelmsford, okay? So say name there. And then we want to do, you can see Chelmsford appears. And then we want to do the temperature. So inner text, that's going to equal data. And then if we go back to our console, you can see that's stored in data.main.temp. Okay, so say data.main.temp. And you see this is in Kelvin, this is called. Okay, so you want to convert this into degrees Celsius. So if you go to this website here, the formula is Celsius equals Kelvin minus 273.15. So we'll just simply subtract 273.15 here from there. And I'm going to floor this as well, just to make it non-decimal, okay? Place this in a template literal as well. And then I'm just going to degrees C at the end. That's Alt-Shift-8 for the degrees logo. Okay, so that's 21 degrees, that's great. And then underneath that, we just want to do the status as well, status.inner text, and that's going to equal main. You can see this, no, it's not main, it's in this weather array. So there's, we need to do weather 0, and then we need to take a description, okay? So we'll say data.weather, then 0, and then we'll say description. So now you can see we get scattered clouds. So that's our basic weather functionality working. So I believe that's pretty much it, just to test out this weather app. Right, let's just do this. So we'll say search to add event listener. So when we click on the magnifying glass, we want to trigger the get weather function, okay? Let's turn that off. So we'll say, if we search for Manchester, for example, and then click on the magnifying glass, you should get the Manchester details now. We can do the same for any location really. So we'll say London, delete this, London. Has that gone in? Let's do London. Okay, search, and we get London's weather there. Okay, so that's all working. So that pretty much sums it up, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.